If you're looking to build real wealth through real estate, you might have narrowed down your decision to rich uncles and Fundrise. But picking the wrong one here could cost you more than just returns. After thoroughly testing both side by side, I found one platform's strategy that could seriously accelerate your wealth, while the other might leave your portfolio exposed. Let's break down rich uncles versus Fundrise to see the winner. Okay, let's get straight to the heart of the matter. The truth is, rich uncles and Fundrise are built for two completely different types of investors. And I'm not just talking about features, I'm talking about your entire philosophy for building wealth. First, let's talk about rich uncles, which is now known as Modiv. Their whole pitch is simplicity and direct income. They focus on commercial real estate, offering REITs that pay monthly dividends. The appeal here is very clear: you own shares in specific income-producing buildings, and you get a piece of the rent. Fundrise, on the other hand, is a different beast. It's not just about buying a slice of a building. It's about accessing a whole professionally managed portfolio of real estate. We're talking residential, commercial, even venture capital real estate projects, all bundled into easy-to-understand funds. If Rich Uncles is like buying a single retail property, Fundrise is like hiring a full-time team to build and manage a diversified real estate empire for you. The strength here is in diversification and innovation and a long-term growth mindset. It's designed for the investor who wants broad exposure, hates putting all of their eggs in one basket, and is excited by new ways to grow wealth, not just collect income. And in my experience, especially in today's market, that diversified approach isn't just nice to have, it's essential. But don't just take my word for it. When I looked into what others investors are saying about Fundrise, the feedback that I saw was overwhelmingly focused on this advantage of depth and diversity. One longtime user stated that Fundrise's diversified portfolio offers compelling exposure to alternative investments usually reserved for big institutions. He pointed out that the platform's interface is remarkably intuitive, making complex things like REITs and private credit easy for everyday people to understand. Most importantly, he emphasized that by opening up access to real estate, private credit, and private equity with low minimums, Fundrise has carved out a unique spot that no one else really fits. Another investor shared a detailed experience on Reddit. He was responding to a thread asking if Fundrise was worth it, where some were skeptical about returns compared to the stock market. He explained that he used Fundrise specifically for diversification. He pointed out that with so much of the stock market tied up in a handful of tech stocks at the bubble at the top, he liked having private real estate and venture capital as a counterbalance. He revealed that he had less than 2% of his assets in Fundrise, but called it the most reliable alternative investment he's tried, outperforming other platforms he's used. He said it provided a peace of mind that other, more speculative investments did not. This feedback mirrors what I've experienced too. Fundrise gives you a system, not just like for a single investment. It's built for the investor who thinks about asset allocation and long-term strategy and who wants an alternate investment mode. All right, now that we've seen the core philosophy split between these two, let's get into what you're actually getting for your money. I tested every major feature and tool, and the gap in the tools and the flexibility became obvious very quickly. Fundrise feels less like a simple investment app and more like a full-scale wealth-building platform at this point. The first thing that struck me was the investment plan system. Instead of just picking a single REIT, you choose a strategy: supplemental income, balanced investing, long-term growth, or even venture capital. I set mine to long-term growth, and it spread my investment across several funds targeting different asset types and geographies. One of my favorite tools, and a real hidden gem, is the auto-invest feature. You can set up weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly investments for as little as $10. It's the set it and forget it approach that truly harnesses dollar cost averaging in real estate, which is incredibly powerful. Well, dollar cost averaging is powerful in anything, but especially in real estate. Then there's the Fundrise IPO. So this is not really a feature. It's something that you won't find with Rich Uncles, though, or most other competitors. This is just something that allows you to invest directly into Fundrise's parent company. I guess it can be called a feature, but this is a separate speculative opportunity, so you can own part of Fundrise and part of their investments. It's a separate thing, but it shows how Fundrise is innovating and thinking about giving investors more ways to participate and to get extra income and ownership. For retirement savers, the IRA options are a real game changer. You can open a Roth or a traditional IRA directly onto the platform. So I moved a small 401k into a Fundrise Roth IRA, and the process was surprisingly smooth. Having a chunk of my retirement portfolio in tangible assets, completely tax-free for growth, gives me a lot of peace of mind. Now, a feature for the more advanced user is called Fundrise Pro. This is a membership that lets you break free from the preset plans and then allows you to build your own custom portfolio. So you can choose your own mix of funds and then you can set the allocation targets for them. So you want to go heavy on the East Coast E-REIT and the Growth E-Fund? You can do that. It offers the dynamic allocation as well, which intelligently directs new money to underweighted funds to rebalance your portfolio automatically. But how does it actually feel in practice, right? How do the tools really work? I think the platform itself is really intuitive. Tracking your returns is clear, and you see both dividend income and appreciation, which is the change in the net asset value of your shares, appreciation versus depreciation. Your tax documents, like the 1099 DIVs, are also available right in the dashboard, so you can see what your tax documents look like. Now, comparing this to Rich Uncle's, I want to get into that because their core feature it's good as well. It's their straightforward REIT offerings, but it is different from Fundrise's offerings. Their mission statement says that they focus on durable monthly dividends from income generated by real estate. Sounds similar enough, and they do deliver on that promise of simplicity. If you want to buy shares in a REIT and get monthly payments, you buy the specific shares, and it works. But when it comes to the diversified portfolios, the automated investing plans, the retirement accounts, the venture capital access, and the rest of the pro-level tools that Fundrise offers, Rich Uncle's simply doesn't compete. But of course, neither of these platforms is going to be perfect in any sense for anyone, right? So to make the best choice in your Rich Uncle's versus Fundrise decision, you need to know the potential downsides. For Fundrise, the most common critique I've actually seen is that the investment options aren't always easy to understand right away. Because unlike a simple stock ticker, you're investing in private REITs and in interval funds and these random things that have all the REITs inside of them. So it takes a little bit of time to read up on what each fund actually does. But I don't see that as a flaw. It's just a little extra time. It's like a trade-off for accessing more sophisticated non-public assets. The platform provides tons of educational material too, and once you spend a few minutes learning the basics, it all just clicks. It's a small learning curve for a much bigger opportunity set. Now, with Rich Uncle's, again now called Modiv, the downsides that I found were a bit more concerning. This Reddit thread here, there's a person who asked about experiences with Modiv, and I found a stark warning in the comments. So there's this one very frustrated user who replied that he had some extreme difficulty getting his money out, saying that the company gave him the runaround and only returned funds in small amounts over multiple requests. Really weird. He flatly called the company garbage and advised others to steer clear. In today's world, liquidity and trust are everything. Like, when I invest, I need to know the process for exiting is clear and reliable every time, right? Fundrise, for all its complexity, has a very clear and tested redemption process for its interval funds, even if it's not instant like a stock trade. The stark contrast in user experiences around accessing capital was a major aha moment for me during this test, so it's important to keep in mind. When it comes to cost between these two, one of the major points people want to know about, Fundrise has a very low minimum to start. They make money through annual asset management fees, which are competitive for the managed portfolio that you're getting, so you're basically paying for a team to select, manage, and diversify the assets. For the depth of the platform and the access that it provides, I find that the value is definitely there for investors who are serious about adding real estate to their portfolio and want an automated system that can help them along with that. For their most current fees and any special offers to start, make sure to check that link that I've left in the description of the video. I'll do my best to keep it updated so that you can always get the best offer and save the most amount of money. So, after months of testing, where does this Fundrise versus Rich Uncle's or Modiv battle leave us? Well, if your goal is to build serious long-term wealth through a diversified, innovative, and professionally managed real estate portfolio, then I think Fundrise is the undeniable tool for you. If you want to start building your diversified portfolio and check for any current offers, use that link in the description below.